Now that the dust has settled on the Chris Eubank Jr. vs Conor Benn fight, I wanted to discuss the potential of a rematch and who they should both fight next if a second fight doesn't materialize. Talking about their initial showdown for a minute, Eubank Jr. vs Conor Benn was the best fight I've seen so far this year. The storyline with their fathers' previous two fights was the genesis for Junior and Conor inking a deal to fight each other. That was why fans cared initially, but over time, Conor and Junior really captivated the boxing audience. And it wasn't just off the back of their father's legacy either. The drama with Conor Benn failing the drug test, the fight being rebooked, the egg incident at the press conference, the personal relationship between Eubank Jr. and Sr., and how they reconciled the day before the fights. And of course, the notion of a welterweight fighting a middleweight, Conor having to go up in weights, and Chris boiling down without properly hydrating. All of these antics and little details made the fight that much more engaging and interesting, especially to the casual viewer. Chris and Conor smashed the promotion, and it felt like all during the build-up, there wasn't a day that went by without headlines coming in about the events and how X did this to Y. Fortunately, the fight itself lived up to all the pre-fight drama. It was an intense 12 rounds of boxing. And Eubank Jr. vs Benn proved that you don't need all the belts or any belts on the line or the highest level boxers competing for a fight to be worthwhile. Not only was it a good fight, but it was the best fight I've ever seen. Both of them had guts, heart, determination, and their father's name to uphold, and both should be incredibly proud of their performances that night. As soon as I thought one fighter was beaten and broken, they would come back stronger the next round. After Eubank Jr. got the decision, Conor Benn was very gracious in defeat and spoke well regarding Jr.'s reconciliation with Sr. the day of the fight. No matter what you think of the whole Conor Benn drug testing fiasco, he won me over personally as a fan with that astonishing performance and the way he talked about Eubank Jr. and his father during the post-fight press conference. To be fair, yes, I am a bit out of the loop regarding the whole drug scenario. I don't know what the exact story is, but that's either here or there. I want to talk about the story of the fight and what's coming in the future first and foremost. I credit Eubank for agreeing to a rehydration clause, and Conor for stepping up and fighting the way bigger man. Both guys deserve their flowers, and while Conor may have lost the decision, I think the pair of them won big in the end. Where do both go from here though? Well, before I answer that, please make sure to subscribe for more combat sports coverage. Anyway, after that action-packed, beautiful boxing match, everyone and their mother has been calling for an immediate rematch. I have some reservations regarding a rematch, to be honest. I find the storyline of Eubank Jr. vs Benn, the way that it unfolded and concluded, to be picture perfect. That event truly felt like something out of a movie, and while I understand the reasons why people would want to see 12 more rounds of that fight, I think it's best to leave well enough alone. The fight almost had a fairy tale end to it, and to have Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn's sons end the rivalry once and for all, it's wonderful. We've seen a perfect trilogy of fights spanning over 30 years, and it's completely fine to leave it at that. Also, just in terms of the weight discrepancy between Benn and Eubank Jr., I don't think it's the healthiest option for both fighters to just make them fight over and over again. Making the fight once is good enough, and I hope that they can go back now to their respective healthier divisions. If the promoters keep making Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn fight each other, then that's where things get really dangerous, and I feel like both guys have challenges ahead in their own weight classes anyway. So no, the rematch between Eubank Jr. vs Benn should not happen in my opinion. It was an amazing spectacle, I loved every second of their fight, but the beef, the storyline, it's been settled. Let's move on. Conor Benn is a natural welterweight, and I was gonna say his best shot at obtaining a world title is fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC belt, but as of a few days ago, Manny Pacquiao has come out of retirement and the WBC gave him an automatic title shot. I get it. Pacquiao is a legend and probably still a massive draw in 2025, But one, a Pacquiao vs Barrios fight reeks of Jake Paul vs Mike Tyson all over again, and two, it's a bit of an insult to the current line of welterweights moving up the ranks for a title shot. Maybe Conor Benn can have a warm-up fight at welterweights, allowing his body to adjust to the weight again and to bide his time until after Barrios vs Pacquiao. Then he goes straight for a WBC title. I'm singling out Mario Barrios in particular because he would be the easiest boxer in that division to pick off. Boots Ennis is way too dangerous for Ben at this point in his career at least. As for Eubank Jr. and his career, I believe he should either aim to fight Lara for the middleweight WBA belt, call out Billy Joe Saunders to avenge Eubank's loss to him, or retire at 35 years old after the biggest fight of his fucking career. I wouldn't blame him if he did. He has officially stepped out of his father's shadow, made a ton of fucking money, and even though he never won a major world title, he came very close to it, and he's given us a treasure of a fight with Conor Benn that we will rewatch for years to come. When it comes to a potential Billy Joe Saunders rematch, I think that bout makes sense for both guys. Eubank no doubt would want to set the record straight, especially since the first fight was super close, and it would also make for a great comeback event for Billy Joe. He's been on a 4-year layoff after losing to Canelo, and a grudge match against Eubank would make people interested in seeing him fight again. Regardless, let me know what you think about the future of Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn's boxing career, and I'll catch you down the road.